line breakdown for you guys and gals. Now, we're going to continue with the defensive line talk here a little bit. We're going to get into a little Devonte Wyatt talk, all right? Now, what I did was pulled some information off online here. And keep in mind, guys, this is over in the Patreon group, okay? So if you've got access to our Patreon community, this write-up's already there for you. You've had it all day long. I put it together, well, about 3 hours ago, I think it was, or 2 hours ago now. And we've actually got the breakdown, the Chalk Talk tapes already uploaded for you guys. 1:17 of Devonte Wyatt, some of his best plays for the 2024 season, all right? So going through the internet and just having it compile information for us, a lot of this stuff's probably going to come from PFF and other websites. And then I've attached some NFL Pro stuff, which you guys know I'm a big fan of NFL Pro. We've also got some PFF stuff here as well. So just ask for a breakdown of Devonte Wyatt's performance and potential with the Green Bay Packers, all right? And we did it in bullet point form. I didn't want it to be something that's long-winded and kind of drags out. Didn't want it to be all wordy and try to sound, every time AI is going to screw that up anyway. So let's get some bullet point forms here. So here we go. Fifth-year option secured. The Green Bay Packers picked up the fifth-year option for Devonte Wyatt, a 2022 first-round pick, ensuring his contract extends through the 2026 season. Now, again, guys, some people look at that and go, man, why didn't they give him a contract extension? The fifth-year option is an inflated number. It's like a mini franchise tag for that player, right? So when you tag them with the fifth-year option, unless it's a position where the value is driven down significantly like we did with Darnell Savage, it was almost like we don't have an answer at safety, although I think we would agree Darnell Savage was not the answer. Let's tag him with that fifth-year option because it's much cheaper. It was like $7 million. When you slap a defensive line franchise or a fifth-year option on a player, you want them in your future contract talks, and they're in contract negotiations with Devonte Wyatt, from what I understand. The three names we're hearing is Zach Tom, Devonte Wyatt, and Quay Walker, right? Now, I don't know how extensive those contracts. I imagine Goody and Russ Ball would like to do them one at a time. Zach Tom will be top priority for me. And then after that, I will go Devonte Wyatt, and then I will go Quay Walker. Now, there's a chance that they say, hey, look, we're going to wait and see how you play this year, Devonte Wyatt. Now you get a quarter of the way through the season and Devonte Wyatt's on fire, get that contract done in season type thing. Now, I don't know. It seems like it's somewhat rare for them to get a contract done mid-season, but again, that's why the fifth-year option was secured. Pass rushing prowess, all right? Wyatt ranks in the 97th percentile for hurries per pass rush opportunity among qualified interior defenders. So when you look at the PFF grades and you see he graded out in the 60s or whatever it was, you think, man, he didn't have that good of a year, did he? But then when you break it down for interior defensive linemen, that's where you really understand, wow, he is a very, very, very effective pass rusher, right? So pass rushing prowess, 97th percentile in hurries per pass rush opportunity. Now, he is in the 67th percentile for quarterback hits per opportunity and the 91st percentile for sacks per opportunity, all right? Against true pass sets, Wyatt ranks in the 91st percentile in hurries on opponent there, and 75th for sack. All right, and those are in true pass sets, and that is a PFF metric if I remember correctly. All right, since 2023, he's recorded 61 hurries and 12 sacks per PFF data, counting half sacks as full sacks. Okay, despite not being a full-time starter. So again, we got to get him on the field more often as well. We actually had that breakdown, and I already dropped it down. I wanted to see his playtime percentage because it was significantly less. However, he was banged up last year, but he still played in 14 games, if I remember correctly. Yeah, right here it is. 2024 season stats. Played in 14 games, producing 32 pressures, the third most on the Packers defense, despite only 247 pass rush and snaps. Now, with the 32 pressures, that's a different number than NFL Pro had. And that's the reason I wanted to put these up, because I'm almost positive that the internet pulled this from PFF's database, and I wanted to show you kind of the difference. We'll get to his NFL Pro numbers here in just a second. An ankle injury in 2024 limited his overall impact, stunning a potentially breakout season. Areas for improvement. Wyatt struggles as a run defender. We've talked about that time and time again here on the show, which has limited his role to primarily pass rushing situations. Needs to improve consistency in finishing sacks, as he often gets into the backfield but fails to complete the play. We seen that more in 2023 than 2024. I felt like he got better at that, and he got better at run defense last year as well. Becoming a 3-down player effective against both pass and the run is critical for his development in 2025. Team context, the Packers did not re-sign starting nose tackle TJ Slayton, and their only defensive line addition was 6th-round pick Warren Brinson, indicating Wyatt and Kenny Clark will be the primary starters in 2025. Now, keep in mind, when they mentioned TJ Slayton at the nose, he would play the nose in 4-3 sets, right, for the most part. And then when they would go to their nickel, he would come out for the most part. TJ Slayton would. Devonte Wyatt would go in. Kenny would kick over to the nose, and Devonte Wyatt would play the 3 to 4 eye. Okay. Wyatt's 2026 base salary is projected at $13.9 million, ranking 27th among interior defensive linemen, which some view as a steep given his limited starts. 5 career starts is all he's got on the books. Again, they come out in a 12 or 21 personnel, and he wasn't the starting defensive tackle. That would be considered not a start, right? So again, that $13.9 million, that's the 27th highest paid interior defensive lineman in the game. So that's a fairly steep number when you're talking about a player who's not the number 1 defensive tackle on your team. Like with Kenny Clark's cap number, that's why you look at Devonte Wyatt's number and think, man, that's significantly cheaper than Kenny's. Of course it is. Kenny's got a huge contract, right? So we'll see how the new contract will shake out. Expectations for 2025, staying healthy is crucial after an injury-plagued 2024. Coaches, including Matt LaFleur, are optimistic about Wyatt's potential, citing his offseason preparation and moments of brilliance. The Packers aim to improve their pass rush consistency, with Wyatt expected to play a larger role as a starter, obviously talking about here in 2025. Potential impact. Wyatt has shown elite pass rushing potential, making him a candidate to become a top interior disruptor. If he improves his run defense and stays healthy, he could emerge as a significant difference maker for the Packers defense in 2025. So let's take a look at the PFF grades. What I did was pull all of the interior defensive linemen on the Packers roster currently, and here are their PFF grades from last year. Okay, so keep in mind, he is the 26th or 27th highest paid interior defensive lineman across the league. He graded out, according to PFF, as the 37th best. Okay, so that would once again prove the point that that's a pretty steep number that they've got him signed on that 5th-year option at, based off of PFF's grades. His defensive grade was a 66.4. The run defense grade was a 52.0. Pass rush grade was a 71.4. All right, and we're not going to worry about the coverage grade, obviously. So here's the thing, though. Much like the Packers' offensive line run blocking grades, isn't it amazing that PFF grades the Packers' offensive line, their run blocking grade, poorly every year, but their running backs just continue to run the ball so well? And everybody said, well, that's Aaron Jones. That's Aaron Jones. Well, now we've done it with Josh Jacobs. Both are great backs. Don't get me wrong. I think that PFF, and this is why I would love for them to give me a breakdown. Hey, here, these are the plays we graded. This is how we seen it. This is why we gave a negative grade, but this is just off in the abyss somewhere where we can't see exactly why they're grading these players out the way they're grading them out. That's why I have a problem with PFF. And again, I still use it as a tool. I'm going to continue to use it as a tool, but it is an issue for me anyway. So just like with the run blocking aspect, getting poor run blocking grades, yet we're a top 5 rushing team in the NFL. Look at our run defense. We were 2nd in the league in yards per carry allowed. But you look at our run defense grades on the defensive line, and everybody graded poorly. Somebody explain that to me. In my opinion, it's because they truly don't understand what the play call is, what the technique that's being used is. I'm not talking about what gap they're lining up in. I'm talking about the touch spies that were all over the tape last year. If somebody watching the tape for PFF doesn't understand, yeah, I would normally give them a negative grade there, but it seems like they're doing exactly what they're being told to do from a defensive standpoint, or else they wouldn't have that kind of success on run defense. Now, again, the linebacker play, that's going to play a role, right? Edgerrin Cooper played great. Quay Walker didn't against the run, right? Now, when you look at the DBs, I felt like Javon Bullard played the run pretty well, so there's a positive, right? Evan Williams probably played it pretty well, coming down as that Spurs safety most of the time with Xavier McKinney playing post. But just something to kind of keep an eye on there. I think his run defense grade should be higher than it is based off the tape we've seen. And again, we'll try to get into the tape here in a second. I think I'll have time to break that down. Carl Brooks was your 2nd highest graded defensive lineman at a 61.9. 61.8. Again, his pass rush, 61.1. Run defense, 39.7. Something that's not known about Karl Brooks, plays a lot of one tech. Okay, so you'll see when Kenny would come out of the game, they would put Karl Brooks in the one tech in his place in that nickel set, right? That was the guy that was kind of spelling. I'm to the point with Karl Brooks, much like Kingsley Enagbare, and you guys know I was high on Karl Brooks his first year in the league. Now I'm to the point where I'm like, I don't know if he's going to be a dude or not, because it felt like he took a step back last year. But again, it's showing his strength at a 61.1 pass rush, 39.7 run defense. How are all these guys graded so bad on run defense, but we had the second best run defense in the league? That's the thing that gets me. I just don't understand it. It doesn't. The math ain't mathing, as they say, right? Kenny Clark, a 60.0 run defense, 58.4, right? Run defense grade. Now, again, he played hurt. We found that out after the season, playing with a bum foot all year long. We've seen a whole bunch of touch spy from him, occupying a double team in that one tech, and then just kind of lagging back, playing the rush lane. That's what we did notice with him. So just keep that in mind. Kobe Wooden's another guy. He's going to have to prove it, man. I know he had limited snaps last year. I think he was banged up. So he's going to have to prove his worth there as well. So when you look at the way that Devonte Wyatt has improved or has not improved throughout his career, 2022 was his best year to 69.9 according to PFF, right? In 2023, he falls to a 59.6. And then last year in 2024, he jumps back up to a 66.4. So right now, from PFF standpoint, and again, I don't fully agree with it, Devonte Wyatt's ceiling is a 69, his floor is a 59, and he settled in last year in between, but much closer to the 69 grade, okay? Now, when you go to the NFL Pro numbers, this is what I wanted to highlight here. Notice the pressures that were mentioned up here, okay? What was it? 32 pressures is what the interwebs pulled for us, right? And that was a PFF number, if I remember correctly. 32. And then when you look at the pressures here for Devonte Wyatt from NFL Pro, it's actually only showing 23. Okay? So, again, when people dog Gary because the pressures on PFF aren't showing as high as his quarterback pressures here at 52, according to NFL Pro, I've got the tape to back it up with NFL Pro, right? I'm siding with NFL Pro. So just like with Devonte Wyatt, listen, we can't cherry pick this stuff and make something seem better than it actually is when we want to prove a point or we want a player to be better than they actually are. He's showing 23 quarterback pressures as opposed to the 32 that PFF had. So keep that in mind. That's why it's important to cross-check. And again, the stamp of approval, in my opinion, will always be the tape. It'll always be the tape. So when I've got a metric that's backed up with tape, I can click on that 23 and watch every single quarterback pressure he had. I'm siding with that over some phantom PFF, right? Some phantom PFF grade that's going to, like I said, someone in the background grading that we don't even know about. So that's kind of how I see that there. So moving along here, we talked pressures. That's really the main thing I wanted to identify with that. Obviously, they had 5 sacks for him. That's pretty much the breakdown we had on Devonte Wyatt. I want to know from you guys in the chat, is he worthy of a contract? Is he worthy of, I'm not saying top 5 defensive tackle money. I think that would be crazy. Is he worthy of top 10 defensive tackle money? Is he worthy of top 15? Because, again, when you look at some of these numbers with the 97th percentile in hurries per pass rush opportunity, we don't have any tape to back it up to match those numbers exactly. But I just want to know what you guys think about that. Let us know in the comments section. So I know there's some people that are probably sitting here going, man, Clayton, I'm still not sold on Devonte Wyatt, and I get it. Why don't we go to – I want to go to the tape, but we're at the 49-minute mark. Guys, forgive me. We're going to hold off on the tape till tomorrow, okay? We're going to hit that tomorrow. It's hard to do a show solo for, more than an hour, and I really don't want to mail that in. I want to get the guys' take on it too. So we'll get into the Devonte Wyatt tape tomorrow, and I'll make sure that I have a note here so we do not forget it, all right? Because I want to show you guys how he played, and here's a little, like I said, Greg Rice, do it. Sorry, man, sorry. Again, I don't want it to be something where we got a lot of dead air and we're trying to drag this thing out. We got to do a giveaway here in a second. So we'll do it tomorrow, man. I apologize, Greg. We'll do the breakdown tomorrow. But here's the cool thing. Greg, you're in the Patreon group, right? Go to that Patreon post, and every clip we're going to break down, I've already got him circled, highlighted. You'll be able to watch those snaps. You watch it, get a jump on it, and then when we break it down tomorrow, you can let us know what you think, man. That'd be a lot of fun to do it that way. Okay, let's go to the chat real quick before we get ready to do the giveaway and wrap this thing up. Chris Casual says, Wyatt, not worthy, in my opinion. I understand, because again, you're willing to overpay for great. You're not willing to overpay for good. Now, when you look at the numbers that were pulled from multiple articles where they're saying he's in the 97 percentile, that would suggest great, right? But when we go to look at the tape, you only got enough tape to back it up to suggest that's not great. It's good, but it's not great. Now, when you're looking at it from a team standpoint, he did lead all interior defensive linemen on our team with a 9% pressure rate. So that checks the box, right? So now are you willing to sacrifice your best interior pass rusher because we don't want to pay him, I don't want to say top dollar, but very good money because we deem him unworthy. So Chris, the way I look at that is you got to build a basement, right? You got to build that foundation. If we say he's not worthy, right? And I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate because I somewhat agree with you with your take there. If we're playing devil's advocate and we say, okay, we're just going to walk away from Devonte Wyatt and let him go into free agency, he's not worthy of that contract. You're starting from square one, right? You're starting from the very beginning again. Because Kenny Clark's number, you got to do something with that cap hit next year. It's astronomical, right? He may not even be on the roster. So now you're starting all over at defensive tackle. As where if you were to pay him being Devonte Wyatt very good money, that's your floor. And he's your 3-tech, right? Now, there's some snaps that will break down where he actually played 1-tech. People don't believe that, but it's true. There's times that he would kick into 1. Now, his run defense, I feel like it got better last year. When you guys see this tape, you're probably going to go, yeah, PFF's full of crap. That dude played the run pretty damn good. Again, somebody had to play the run good, What I would like to see is, now, if you could tell me there's going to be a dominant force at the defensive tackle position, somebody who could play a 1 to a 3-tech in free agency next year, sign me up, right? I would totally go that route, right? But with us not knowing if we're going to get into a bidding war with someone else, and 3-techs aren't just falling off trees. Like if a team's got a good 3-tech, they're not letting them hit free agency. It's very rare that someone like Christian Wilkins hits free agency, right? Because teams want to lock those guys up. I mean, we disagreed with Kenny Clark's last contract. We didn't feel like he was, worth that much money, in my opinion. I say we like everybody agrees with me. You guys may not. But why did we do that, though? There's not a whole lot of defensive tackles on the market. You'll get some that are over the age of 30, but Kenny's, cracked over the age of 30 now, too. So Chris says, need to give some of Kenny's money to Wyatt. Exactly. And that's what I'm getting at, Chris, is like if you move on from Kenny, you've got the money to re-sign Wyatt. And guess what you do? You go to the draft like we talked about this year, and you go try to find that next great 3-tech of the future, right? And then you can work Devonte Wyatt in and out of the nose. And I think they're expecting Warren Brinson to eat a few of those snaps as well with TJ Slayton now gone. So that's something else to kind of keep in mind there as well. So it's going to be interesting, though, to see if they just, give him top dollar. And I don't know what the average annual value would be. If I can remember tomorrow, I'll put up a poll question for everybody and see what you guys think would be the top dollar that Devonte Wyatt should get.